Welcome back to the M News, guys. Now we get on to my top 10 best movies of 2013. Yes, I already made a video, but then I seen some new movies, and when I seen those new movies, I seen like 3 new movies, I decided I was totally wrong. I need to switch my list around. So here we go, starting with some honorable mentions, and I thought this went out through a little bit more. Honorable mentions, we got World War Z, The World's End, Thor 2, The Dark World, Pacific Rim, The Great Gatsby, Hunger Games Catching Fire, and Kick-Ass 2. Movies I have not seen, so these are movies that I have not seen and it will not be on my list. Saving Mr. Banks, Mud, Don John, Lone Survivor, Prisoners, Frozen, and Her. Now, let's get on my top 10. Coming in at number 10 is...
This is my game, this is my lane, get out of the way, what you want, hun? What the hell? Oh my God!
Emma Watson showed up.
Give me everything you have to drink!
There are 6 of us, you cannot rob us! Oh,
Hermione just stole all of our
what you want, son?
This is the End, the comedy starring Seth Rogen, Jonah Hill, Jay Baruchel, and a whole bunch of comedians who are playing themselves in an epic little comedy called This Is the End. It's obviously about the apocalypse, and it's funny how to see these guys go through the apocalypse, and that's why it's my number 10. It's so funny. It's one of the funniest movies I've seen all year. Cut away from the religious bashing of the Bible. Other than that, the movie's funny as can be, and it's really enjoyable, so it's my number 10. Coming in at number 9 is...
Know what happened? I went into that place to get our son back, and something evil followed me.
Get out of my head!
Insidious Chapter 2. I was a huge fan of James Wan's first installment of Insidious, and when I seen the second one, I was blown away. I cannot wait for the third installment, though it will not be probably directed by James Wan. I still want to see where this trilogy goes up to. Our heads.
So where's home, Dr. Stone?
Lake Zurich, Illinois.
Is there somebody down there looking up, thinking about you?
I had a daughter. A little girl with brown hair. Tell her that I'm not quitting.
Is Gravity. People are saying this is going to win Oscars, and I guarantee it will. Gravity is a fantastic movie, phenomenal. The directing went right into the places I thought it was going to go. It's totally something I never expected how it turned out. The movie, it takes you into another whole space adventure, and it is such a suspense movie. It's a great suspense movie and great thriller. I really recommend it. Sandra Bullock is amazing, and as well as George Clooney.
Solomon Northup is an expert player on the violin.
I was born a free man, lived with my family in New York,
Be good for your mother.
until the day I was deceived,
To Solomon.
kidnapped, sold into slavery.
It's 12 Years a Slave. 12 Years a Slave is such a heartbreaking, powerful movie. I felt so bad at the end of this movie. It works. It's the best. It's totally the best slave movie I've seen in my whole life. It's so fulfilling, and the acting in it is just fantastic. It's gonna win Oscars, maybe even Best Picture of the year. Man of Steel, the movie starring Henry Cavill and directed by Zack Snyder. It is the new take of Superman, and it is a great, in my opinion, a great new take on Superman. It is a remake, one that you will probably not see in many people's top 10, top 5 videos of 2013. It is...
We're gonna get you, not another peep. Time to go to sleep.
For some reason, this movie blew me away when I went to theaters and saw it. I had such a blast watching it. Me and my friend went and got seen it. Lane, he done a few videos on this channel. We went to watch it and we just had a blast. We love horror movies, we love gory movies, and we just got everything we wanted in that. And it still held to a respected term for the original Evil Dead. Coming in at number 4, this is another movie I seen right next to 12 Years a Slave this past week, and it is...
This is my home!
Good for you, little man. Me, the little man.
The show goes on! They're gonna need to send in the National Guard to take me out, cause I ain't going nowhere!
Starring Leonardo DiCaprio. This movie, phenomenal. Leonardo DiCaprio is just fantastic, as well as Jonah Hill. And this movie it's so funny, so entertaining. It's 3 hours long, and my God, it's one hell of a ride. Wolf of Wall Street, though, is a fantastic movie. It is probably going to get nominated for Best Picture of the Year. I would not doubt it one bit. Coming in at number 3 is the year's greatest horror movie, directed also by James Wan, and it is
November 1st, 1971. I'm sitting here with Carolyn Perrin, who, with her family, has been experiencing supernatural occurrences. You picking up anything in here, hon?
Something awful happened here, Ed.
What is it?
The Conjuring. 2013 was an amazing year for horror movies, especially for James Wan. James Wan directed both Insidious Chapter 2 and The Conjuring. His best, The Conjuring, for the reason that it is held to its word as one of the greatest horror movies of all time. It put me in such a... first time I've ever walked out of a theater shaking after watching a movie. First time ever, I promise you that now. I was shaking leaving the theater, and the movie is just phenomenal. Coming in at number 2 is...
Now, shall we begin? I'm sorry.
We're outnumbered, outgunned.
I have no idea what I'm supposed to do. I only know what I can do.
The ship's dead, sir. She's gone.
No, she's not.
No ship should go down without her captain.
The return of Captain Kirk and Spock in the Star Trek Into Darkness. Phenomenal sci-fi prequel. Phenomenal. J.J. Abrams has brought us another great sci-fi from his first Star Trek movie, and Super 8. Star Trek Into Darkness is one of the greatest films of the year, in my opinion. It is so much fun. Its job as a sci-fi, and it still holds up to my number 2 of the year. And coming in at number 1 was my most anticipated film of 2013, and it is
Dragonfire and ruin. That is what you will bring upon us. He cannot see beyond his own desire.
I will not risk this quest for the life of one burglar.
His name is Bilbo.
Thief. Where are you? Come now. Don't be shy. Step into the light.
The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug. This movie is my number 1 because I'm a huge Middle-earth fan and a J.R.R. Tolkien fan. I love Lord of the Rings. I love The Hobbit, The Unexpected Journey, which I would also give an A+. No, maybe they're not as great as Lord of the Rings, but you know, it's nice to get away from the really dark-toned movies such as The Lord of the Rings was. The Lord of the Rings, don't get me wrong, they are phenomenal, fantastic fantasy movies. I just felt The Hobbit was more for a little bit more adventuristic and fun to get into. You know, I can watch The Hobbit over and over again. I cannot watch Lord of the Rings over and over again, and that's a props to The Hobbit. Both of them. The Desolation of Smaug is such a phenomenal movie. The fantasy genre is probably going to be really proud to have these in there. J.R.R. Tolkien, you know, it may have not came from the book as well as the first part of the trilogy has, but I can assure you, even J.R.R. Tolkien fans will have a blast with this. If you are a Middle-earth fan, Lord of the Rings fan, you are going to have a blast with it. It takes more of the tone of Lord of the Rings than the first Hobbit movie did. The Desolation of Smaug is more of a Lord of the Rings type of feel movie because it got a little bit more darker and serious, and it was pretty good and well done. I finally get to see a serious more tone with The Hobbit. But the first one, what was so great about the first one is that it doesn't allow, just the older people to enjoy these movies. It also enjoys younger people to enjoy these movies. Yes, there's still a little bit of violence once in a while, but more or less, if you look at Lord of the Rings and you look at The Hobbit, what would you rather have your kid watch? The Hobbit or Lord of the Rings? You know what I mean? The Hobbit is so much fun. The Desolation of Smaug is fantastic. Smaug, played by Benedict Cumberbatch, is phenomenal. Martin Freeman owns Bilbo Baggins as a character, and that is why it is my #1 favorite movie of the year. Guys, that is my top 10 favorite movies of the year. Comment down below what are your favorite movies of the year. Let me know why. And as always, guys, thanks for watching.